Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. We're going to take a couple of minutes to let everyone pile in the room. We see everyone coming in, so happy to have everyone here. We'll give it just another minute. Okay. Well, it's 12:02, so we will go ahead and get started here. So welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our Ask Us Anything info session. This is our last info session of the year, of the calendar year. So we are excited to have everyone here where we let you ask us anything. So we have a little bit of content prepared, but first want to go through a few things here. First, a few housekeeping notes. Today's webinar is being recorded. Everyone probably got a notification of that. We do have closed captions enabled. Those can be activated at any time. We are in a Zoom webinar, so we cannot see or hear those of you in the audience. We cannot call on raised hands, so please don't try to raise your hand. If you do have questions, please use the Q&A feature, not the chat, to submit your questions. That will ensure that we see your questions and we're able to answer them. We have 3 of us as panelists today, and we have a few other admission staff members here. Thank you so much to them for sort of managing the chat or the Q&A for us while we go through the slides. Some questions will be answered within Q&A by admission staff, like I just mentioned, and some will flag to answer at the end live by the panel. If we don't have a chance to answer your question, which is quite possible, please reach out to us at brownadmissions@woostel.edu, and we would be happy to talk to you and answer your question. One more thing is to please just keep the questions more general in nature. This is Ask Us Anything, so our topic is pretty broad, but if you have a specific question about your specific application, your specific situation that's more personal, we ask that you don't ask that in this webinar. Email us, connect with us, and we would be happy to talk to you again more personally. So those are our housekeeping notes. Today's panelists, I can introduce myself. I'm Shana Peterson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an associate director in the Office of Admissions and Recruitment at the Brown School. And I'll pass it over to Erica.
Good afternoon or morning, depending on what time zone you are in. I am Erica Jones. I work for Student Financial Services here at the Brown School, and my pronouns are she, her. I will pass it over to Sarah Dexter.
Thanks, Erica. Glad to be here today. My name is Sarah Dexter. I also use she, her pronouns, and I am an associate director in the Office of Admissions and Recruitment here at the Brown School. Glad you all are here today.
Thanks, Erica and Sarah. So quick agenda. We are going to devote most of the day today for your questions, but we do have a couple of just sort of like general things that we think a lot of you might be asking anyway. So first we're going to cover some application deadlines. There's the slide I'm talking about, application deadlines. Then we'll move on to some funding questions and some funding resources. And then, like I said, we're going to devote a good portion of the day today to your questions. So please fire away when we get there. All right. And Sarah, I think you are gonna start us off here.
Thanks, Shana. Thank you, Shana. So as Shana mentioned, we're going to chat a little bit about application deadlines. I know this is a really common question that we get. So folks are probably preparing their applications right now. We hope you are. Our first application deadline is December 1st. And so that is our early review deadline. So if you review by if you submit your application by December 1st, that ensures that you will receive your admission and scholarship decision by February 1st, which I think was a question that actually just came up. We do want to note that because December 1 falls on a Sunday this year, and we have Thanksgiving break in the admissions office, we will be closed from the Wednesday before, so that's November 27th through Monday, December 2nd. So we wanted to get this out in front of folks early on, let you know that our office will be closed for a couple days prior to that December 1st deadline. So if you have questions, please notify us of that on the earlier side of things so we can help you out. I also want to hopefully relieve any anxiety. If you do apply, let's say December 2nd or 3rd or 4th, that's okay. We are going to review your application in order. So you can expect a decision within about 8 to 10 weeks after your application is complete and submitted to the Brown School. And we do need all of your application materials to be submitted. So December 1 is our first deadline, March 1 is our second deadline, and then we do accept admissions on a rolling basis after March 1. Our final deadlines for international applicants is April 1st, and then domestic is June 1st. So I started to touch on some of these already, but we get these questions a lot, so we thought we'd spend a little time here. What are the benefits of applying early? Why would I apply by that December 1st deadline? As I said, if you apply by December 1, you'll get your decision guaranteed by February 1st. You will also receive your scholarship award if you're interested in scholarship at that same time. It gives you the most time to make your decisions, to look at all the different factors that you want to consider when attending a graduate school. It gives you more time to look at different funding opportunities if you apply early and are admitted early. It's the ideal timeline in the sense of we have an admitted students weekend, and so we have a lot of different ways for admitted students to engage with us. Not to say you can't engage later on, but it just gives you a longer runway as you're making this really important decision. The other piece to that is funding. For our early decision, we have all funding available. We haven't obviously allocated any scholarships yet. So for folks whose top priority is funding, we do recommend to apply by that early deadline. We do still have scholarships available for folks who apply after and apply by that regular March 1 deadline, but we really do prioritize our early applicants. Another question we get a lot is about a fee waiver. So there are opportunities for a fee waiver for the MSW and MSP applications. Some of that is built into the MSW or MSP application, and so you may automatically be waived that fee. Some of that is related to service corps groups, specific involvement in undergrad opportunities. There's a lot of different criteria that is all listed on our website. If you don't fall into that criteria, we do consider financial need or financial fee assistant waivers on a case-by-case basis. And that is only for MSW and MSP. For MPH application fee waivers, you will need to contact SOFAs, and they have specific funding for that. The next question we get asked a lot is when I receive my decision. So I said December 1, you'll get it by February 1. And then after that, it's typically 8 to 10 weeks. We are striving to do that a little bit faster, but 8 to 10 weeks is a pretty good time frame to keep in mind. The next question is, can I use AI to edit my personal statement? We know that AI can be a really fantastic tool and that folks may use it professionally. They may use it in different capacities. And for us, we really want your application to be a true reflection of who you are and what you will bring to the classroom and to essentially the profession. So we want your work to be your own original thought. So really that means that you're not, copying and pasting things into these different platforms, that it's your own original work. You can definitely use platforms that help with spelling, or like spell check, or that basic thing that Microsoft Word has. But we really want your materials to be your own authentic, genuine work. That essentially can lead to issues of academic integrity if you're not submitting your own work. And then lastly, do all application materials need to be received by December 1? Yes. For your application to be considered submitted, it needs to have all of your application materials submitted by December 1st. That does include the online interview that is called Kira, and is within the application itself. But some folks get a little thrown off by that. So every material needs to be submitted by December 1st. If it is submitted afterwards, we still will review your application, but it'll be on that 8 to 10 week time frame. Here we have all of our application requirements. You're probably familiar with this if you've started the application, but just as a reminder, all of our programs have very, very similar requirements outside of the human bio requirement. So we ask for a personal statement, 2 letters of recommendation or 2 references, a comprehensive resume and CV, transcripts. You'll have that video interview I mentioned. If you are wanting to be considered for scholarship, you will complete the scholarship consideration form as well as the application fee. For our public health program, we do have a human bio prerequisite, and there's more information about that prerequisite online. And then lastly, we do have some additional requirements for our international applicants. And so we do have English language proficiency requirements. Specifics of that are also located on our website, our minimum scores. We do also require a foreign transcript evaluation. So if you completed your bachelor's or your undergraduate degree outside of the US, we do need a transcript evaluation, course by course transcript evaluation, so we can confirm that equivalency, and then also have just a better understanding of the courses that you took, your GPA, that sort of thing. And then for international applicants who are enrolling, so admitted students who will be coming to the Brown School, there are additional funding requirements that we provide a lot more information on, but it's something for folks to be aware of up front. And then I will pass it over to Shannon to talk a little bit more about that video interview.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for going through all of that. Yeah, we just wanted to spend a few more minutes talking about the video interview because we do get quite a few questions about this. So I wanted to cover some of the more common questions. So as Sarah mentioned, the video interview, which is on a platform called Kira, is a requirement for all 3 of our program applications. Just to give you a little bit more information about that. If you haven't started that yet, the video interview consists of 5 questions that are pre-recorded. So it's not a live interview. You'll record them on your own. This portion of our application is designed for us to meet you virtually, for us to get a clearer sense of all that you hope to achieve at the Brown School. Just gives us another way to meet you and understand more about you, and for you to share more about yourself with us. In terms of just like the logistics for MSW and MSP applicants, you will receive a personal link to the online video interview, and that's going to be located in your application checklist in your WashU graduate admissions portal. So that should be available to you as soon as you log into that portal. For MPH applicants, it's a little bit different. So after submitting your application, you'll receive an email within 24 to 48 hours to create an account in the WashU graduate admissions portal. And again, like our MSW and MSP applicants, you'll be able to access that interview link in there. So I want to just emphasize again that for MPH applicants, It does take 24 to 48 hours for you to receive that email. So please plan accordingly if you do intend to submit by December 1st, because we do need to receive that CURA interview by December 1st in order for us to consider your application complete. So a few tips on this. First of all, try not to be nervous. I know it can sound a little nerve-wracking to be recording an interview of yourself, but try not to be nervous. There are no right or wrong answers. Again, this really is an opportunity for us to hear your story, to gain a better understanding of you, of your experiences, of what excites you, what motivates you, things like that. None of the questions are designed to trick you or anything like that. You do have unlimited time to do some practice questions, so we strongly encourage you to take advantage of that. You can do 1, 5, 100, however many you want. Just get comfortable with the platform, practice a little bit, and I think that can help with some nerves as well. Just for your planning purposes, the interview takes about 20 to 30 minutes to complete once you've done those practice questions and you're ready to start. We do want to touch on AI again. We do expect all of your CURA answers to be your original answers, so please be mindful of that. We do not accept answers that are AI generated. So again, we're looking for original thought, original answers with your CURA responses. You do need to complete the full interview in one sitting. So again, with planning, takes about 20 to 30 minutes. You cannot stop and start it and return to the page later. So you need to plan to complete everything all at once. And finally, like I said before, this is considered a part of your application and does need to be completed by the deadline that you intend to complete your application by. So just plan accordingly there. The other piece that we wanted to talk about quickly for your application is the scholarship consideration form. So this is a required form if you're interested in scholarship consideration. This does need to be submitted at the same time that you submit everything else for your application. So again, please be mindful of this. This is a required material for funding consideration. This is simply just for scholarship consideration. It does not impact admissibility at all. So please note that. Every student who requests a scholarship will receive some type of an award. We've consistently been able to provide that for the last several years. So we do want all students to know that. With that being said, all of our scholarships are partial tuition awards. So we, again, receive a lot of questions about full tuition. The answer to that is that all of our awards are partial tuition awards only. This scholarship consideration form can be found in the Brown School application for MSW and MSP applicants, and it can be found in your graduate admissions portal for MPH applicants. So again, those instructions are provided after you submit your application. And I think now I will turn it over to Erica to share a little bit more about tuition and funding.
Thank you, Shayna. Well, this is where everybody wants to know, how much is it going to cost? So as you can see right now, the current rates are for our 24-25 academic school year, the 25-26 academic school year. The price may subject to change, so do not lock us in. What you're seeing right now, again, is for 24-25. So our tuition for MSW and MSP students, you can see, is $48,010 for the academic year. MPH is a little lower at $42,640. Every student is required to have health insurance. As a domestic student, you have the option of opting out, but you do have to show proof that you do have some other insurance. You are also required to show you have your Brown School activity fee, which is $120, which $120 for the academic year. And as you can see, MSW, MPH, MSP, they're all the exact same. And then everybody is required to participate as for the student in health and wellness, which is also for the academic year, which is $646. for each academic year. So what the Brown School activity fee is, that is to, when we have different panelists, you're paying for the panelists to come, you're paying for the space. So everybody is required to do that for the programming. The student health and wellness fee, that is for your activities that's going on. So it is just encompassing to let you know what you're paying for, what all of your money is going to. So can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And then for our international student funding, international students, your pricing is a little different because you have to provide the university with proof of financial support. So therefore, as you see highlighted, the estimated cost of attendance for the year, you have to show that once you get to Washington University, that you can support yourself. So you have to provide a little bit more information, which is fine. But and all of this is literally for one academic year. So you have to provide your information for one academic year. It is always helpful in this it is always helpful for our international students before coming here, get a plan. Get a plan of action to allow you to know what your budget will look like, what funding will look like, what additional monies you may look like. Because again, on paper, it may look like one thing, but once you physically get here, it may be something else. So we're just trying to prepare you, be ready for once you actually take the ground running here at WashU. Next question, how can you fund your education? Always, always. This is where can we get some more money? So as Shana previously stated, we have Brown School scholarships, which are partial awarded scholarships. We also encourage students, do your own research, look for scholarships. The earlier, the better. I like to tell all the students, don't be discouraged if a scholarship is only $500. $500 can add up. So don't be discouraged. It will add up. Look for different scholarships. Look for different grants. The majority of the scholarships open up in December. So start now. This is your time. Do your research. Look for part-time employment. You can do part-time employment while you are a student here. Again, it can add up. Then you have personal savings, the 529 family plan. You have sponsor support. If you have military benefits or employee benefits, if you are an employee with Washington University, look into the different employee benefits that we have. If you are a domestic student, we also have federal student aid, work study, loans. Look into that. International students, it may be a last resort, but look into private loans. All of that will be encompassing for your education, for you to be on the right track, on the right path, to be an educational and great success with us. And student aid. Again, student aid is federal aid, I'm sorry. Student aid, federal aid, all of it is for our domestic students. Unfortunately, international students, you cannot apply for this, but what is the earliest you can submit your FAFSA? December 1st. You can submit your FAFSA as early as December 1st or when it's available. Do you have to complete the FAFSA application every year? Yes. This is an annual application that if you would like to receive aid each academic year, you must complete this. Do my parents have to apply for it? No, this is for you. You are an independent graduate student. Do I have to accept the full loan amount offered by the university? Absolutely not. Once you are a student and you get accepted, we will send you a financial aid package if you complete your FAFSA. And then on that, you have the opportunity to accept, decline, or decrease any amount awarded to you. So no, you do not have to accept the full amount. How do I know if I'm eligible for federal work study? That will be indicated in your award letter that you receive. So all of those are encompassing. Do it, do it, do it. Apply for it. Apply for as many scholarships as possible. Get your funding together. And lastly, I wanted to say, I did not mention it on the previous slide. We also have a scholarship database here at Washington University called the Graduate Center. We highly encourage students to look at the Graduate Center also for different scholarship opportunities as well. Next slide, please. Is this for me? For everybody? Okay. So then, as I previously stated, your funding steps to take. Develop a plan of action. If you would like to sit down with myself or the other director of financial aid, we can get you a plan of action together to say, get you a preliminary budget of what it will look like. Start saving your money for your living expenses. And you may also want to look into what ifs. You may not necessarily think about it, but that does happen. It's a what if situation. So we try to get students prepared for that as well. Create you a graduate school budget. You know that graduate school is not cheap. So sit down and be realistic with yourself. You may not can start Washington University next semester, which is okay, but have a plan of action for yourself and be realistic with yourself about what the funding opportunities and what it may cost you. As previously stated, start searching, doing external scholarships, start doing your scholarship search. Use Google, use Bing. As I previously stated, we also have the Graduate Center. There is plenty out there for you to take advantage of. You just sometimes have to do the work. Also, we want you to understand the difference between tuition and the cost of attendance. Your tuition is tuition. That would be your tuition. That would be your student health insurance. That would be your Brown School activity fee. That will be your health and wellness. All of that is considered the tuition. Your estimated cost of attendance, as the previous slide stated, that is, the estimated cost of attendance, that is your cost of living, that is your food, that is all of the other miscellaneous things that is encompassed of that. And lastly, we encourage everybody, domestic students, if you want, please fill out your 25-26 FAFSA application. The sooner that you do that, the sooner we'll be able to get you, once we start doing packages, the sooner we'll be able to package you with your financial aid package. We package students who have accepted into the program. So if you're like, oh, I'm not sure about, I want to go to WashU, but can I get a package? We only package those students who have been accepted into the program. So, thank you.
Thanks, Erica. All right, just a few, two more quick slides for you, and then we'll dive into your questions that we still have. So mark your calendar. These are dates that we've already been through, but just a reminder on all of these. December 1, we all know, is our early review deadline. March 1, our priority review deadline. After March 1st, admission decisions will be made based on availability in the program. Our final deadlines, April 1 for international applicants, June 1 for domestic applicants. And it is worth noting one more time that this year, December 1st falls on a Sunday. We are hoping to not come into the office on Monday morning, December 2nd, with a lot of panicked communication from students. So we would like you to plan ahead, make sure you're working on your applications, submitting all your materials, working through all the kinks, because our office is going to be closed starting on Wednesday, November 27th, and we will not reopen and receive your emails and your phone calls until Monday, December 2nd. So we want you to be set up for success, so please take note of this. And in the meantime, we are here to connect with you. Many of you have connected with our office, and we encourage you to continue to do so. Begin or check on your application if you intend to submit soon. Connect with an admissions specialist in our office. You can also set up an in-person campus tour if you're in the St. Louis area. You probably all know our email address, brownadmissions@wustl.edu. Our website is down there. Our phone number is there. We don't receive a lot of phone calls, but you're welcome to call us if you'd like. And we are happy to help you. Now we're finished and on to your questions. So we have, about 15 minutes here that we can dive into questions. And I think the three of us will kind of take them as they come. Thank you to Megan and Dominique for answering quite a few already. Let's see, I can take this first round. What is the Brown School acceptance rate? That's a great question, Abigail. So our answer is that we don't share our acceptance rate externally. And that's for the primary reason there is that we really want students to apply to our school if you think it is a good fit for you. And we really, we don't want an acceptance rate to sway that decision. And the other thing is that the other important thing to know about that is that if we take a holistic approach to admissions, I'm sure you've heard that from us before. So that means we're not looking to like fill a certain number of seats in our program. If we review your application, if the committee reviews it and we believe you're a great fit for the Brown School and your application is admissible, then you're going to be admitted to the program. And so that's kind of the information that we share with you. We really want you to look at our school, look at our program, decide whether you think it would be a good fit for you and you would be successful here, and then make your application decision based on that information. Graduate housing, I can talk about that too. Abigail, good questions you have here. So graduate housing is typically not available for graduate students. Most of the WashU campus housing is for undergraduate students. With that being said, a lot of graduate students at the university, including at the Brown School, will find housing through WashU. So we have a couple of offices here on campus that operate off-campus housing through the university. So if someone who's, maybe we can someone put in the chat quadrangle, that's a resource that we direct students to quite often. And then a couple of other things, Abigail, for housing is that the admissions office usually will have like a shared Excel sheet and like roommate finder for incoming admitted students for you to find roommates if you're interested in that. And then once we get like into the spring and we have all of our resources for admitted students, we're gonna provide a lot of housing resources there for you. So that's a really long answer to your question. The short answer is housing is typically not available on campus for students, but we will provide a lot of resources for you and you will be able to find housing in the St. Louis area. Would Erica or Sarah, do you see a question that you want to jump in on?
Yeah, I can take a couple. So I think Shayna, you already touched on some like I believe this question around school accommodation, or I think that's around like housing accommodations for international students. So we touched on that, but yes, our students are able to bring a dependent with them. There's just different funding requirements for that, which are outlined should you be admitted into the program. Someone another person asked about can they change their concentration from what's written in their statement of purpose? Do I need to submit another personal statement or CV? So for all of our programs, we admit specifically to the program. We don't admit based on a concentration. So for example, if you're a public health applicant, you originally applied to EpiBio, but you're actually wanting to be a generalist, you are admitted to the MPH program itself. So that hopefully can take away one concern. We want you to know what you're applying to and like what your interests are, but we also recognize that can change. And so our students are able to change their concentrations during the first year. If you know that before you are admitted and enrolled, that's great for your own self, but you're also able to make adjustments to change that during your first year of enrollment at the Brown School. I can also talk about the transcript evaluation process. So for our international applicants, we are requiring a transcript evaluation for the application to be considered complete. This has been a requirement for our MPH applications, and this is a new requirement for our MSW and MSP. And this can really help provide just consistency and a better understanding of your academic history and experiences. So in order for your application to be considered complete, we will need that transcript evaluation. We do accept evaluations from a number of accredited parties. We do have a partnership with the evaluation company, formerly known as Spantran, and they do offer a discount on that evaluation. You can find more information on that on our website.
I can jump in, Sarah. Thank you for answering all those. Is a 3.0 GPA mandatory? It is not mandatory. It is a recommended 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. That's important to know for any applicants who are coming from schools where they don't have a 4.0. Keep that in mind. But the 3.0 is not required. It's recommended just so the students know, like, this is an academically rigorous program. We want you to be prepared for that. With that being said, we know that a lot of different factors can impact a student's GPA. And so if you don't have a 3.0, please don't let that prevent you from applying. We do have a section of our application you've probably seen that says extenuating academic circumstances. So that section is actually specifically for if you want to explain anything about your GPA or explain anything about like maybe circumstances that took place during your schooling that impacted your studies. Whatever you'd like to share there, please do share. That gives us just a little bit more information. And so we have seen students in the past whose GPA has been lower than a 3.0. They've used that area to elaborate a little bit there if they'd like. So to answer to that question, does the Brown School offer graduate assistant positions? Erica, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. Thanks, Shayna. Unfortunately, we do not. That's a simple answer, and I'm sorry that was very rude, but we just encourage students to truly do your research. Look at scholarships. Again, it goes back to scholarships. It goes back to part-time jobs. It goes back to on-campus jobs, truthfully. So, but we don't offer graduate assistantships for the positions. We just encourage you, truthfully, do your research. Do your scholarships. And again, we know that may not be an answer that you're looking for, but we try to be 100% transparent with you guys. So yes.
Thanks, Erica.
And then can I add one little thing to
Yeah, I
that,
was
if
gonna
that's
add that.
okay?
Yes,
Go ahead.
please.
Yeah.
I was just, Erica is like totally right. Like, WashU, the Brown School, isn't able to offer those assistantships, but we do offer those scholarship awards, as Erica said. So every person who is admitted does receive a scholarship. We do take into consideration both the merit, like the overall strength of your application, your experiences, your passions, as well as financial need. And so that is really why we have you complete that scholarship consideration form, so we can try to get a comprehensive, holistic understanding of, who you are and what your financial need may be for graduate school. We do think it's really cool that we can offer scholarships to every admitted student, and we know that is not that's not the case for every program. And so while we don't offer those assistantships, which are often really limited, we are excited to offer that funding to all of our admitted students. So Erica, you answered that beautifully. I just wanted to add that a little bit.
Yeah, and I would thank you, Sarah. And I would also add to, like, I think every school calls jobs different things. It seems like so. Graduate assistantships, like, we do have plenty of on-campus jobs. Erica mentioned there's lots of on-campus job opportunities. A lot of our students work in research centers and they work as research assistants. So that is super popular job for Brown School students. Those jobs, though, are not awarded through the admissions office and through the admissions process. Those are like part-time jobs that you'll apply for. You'll find ones that you're interested in, then you'll apply to them and they're part-time jobs. And so those are not paid with like tuition remission. Those are paid just a flat salary. And you can use that salary for whatever you want: tuition, living expenses, et cetera, et cetera. So just a little bit of, that's kind of what our structure looks like here. I can read this next question and see if I can answer it. I'm applying for the MPH MSW dual degree program. In terms of the MSW, if my career goal is to get an LMSW and eventually LCSW, do I need to concentrate in mental health and the clinical social work track? I'll just pause there. Probably so. That's the typical, great question, Vivian. That is the typical route for students who are interested in pursuing licensure. You can't, and that's if you want to work with adults. I would say the caveat there is if you want to work more with children or youth in a clinical setting, you can pursue licensure through the Children, Youth, and Families concentration, but I would say most of our students who want to pursue licensure do the clinical social work track and mental health concentration. Going back to your question, or can I say do the mental health concentration with the child behavioral health track? That also I believe is an option to pursue licensure. I believe so. Sarah, do you know if child behavioral health is a track?
I'm not positive,
Okay.
but that's something that as a student here, like the first year of our curriculum is really founded in like foundational curriculum. So you got some time to figure out those logistics, but to Shayna's point, the mental health concentration is, that's the important piece, the concentration component, and knowing that that's what you're interested in, I think you're in a good spot for now.
Yeah, you have some time, and like Sarah brings up a good point about concentration, and we kind of touched on this earlier with if you decide you want to switch your concentration, and this goes for the MSW and the MPH program, you have time. You know, we admit to the program, we don't admit to specific concentrations. So you have really until the end of your first year to change your concentration if you want to do that. We ask you to designate your intended concentration on your application because we want to hear about it. You know, we want to know that you have some goals, that you have looked at the concentrations and kind of have a plan in mind. That helps us. That also helps, quite frankly, you as a student as you're writing your personal statement and talking about your intended concentration. So we do ask you to talk about that in the application, but you have time to change it. The rest of your question, Vivian, about the generalist track, you actually are going to be required to do the generalist concentration with the dual degree for the MPH. So that is in order to complete the 2 degrees and share the credits that are needed to be shared and complete the dual degree on the accelerated track, the MPH needs to be the generalist. So sounds like you are on track for that. And then the next question under that is, what does it entail to have an MSW concentration and specialization at the same time, especially if I'm doing the dual degree and working towards clinical licensure? That is a great question. I think that might be a little bit more of a personalized question. So unless Sarah or Erica, you have anything to add to that, I would encourage Vivian just to reach out to us and we can talk a little bit more about your individual situation here since it's the dual degree with specialization. So reach out to us on that. We answered the graduate assistant, Brown School, lecture time.
I will answer Abigail's. Is
Sure.
apartment rent near WashU affordable? Abigail, I will honestly say it just depends on the area that you would like to. It depends on the housing, truthfully. So it does fluctuate. Rent does fluctuate depending on the area within WashU. And I say that because that's such a broad area for WashU that we can't just narrow it down to say, yes, it's affordable because, and I say that to say, just do your research. I do believe Megan put in the quadrangular housing. Looking to start comparing the rate prices. Look at rent prices in the area per se, within the area of WashU, because what someone may think is cheap for you may be high for someone else. So that is going to be a case by case basis, but definitely look at quadrangular housing, and they do have rate comparison on that.
Thank you, Erica. Okay, I am seeing that it's 12:45, so we want to be respectful of everyone's time. We were able to get through, it looks like almost 40 questions, 35 questions. So thank you so much again to Megan, Dominique, Sarah, Erica, all of our attendees. We're so glad you came. This 45 minutes flew by. We are here for you. We're here to help. We are looking forward to receiving all of your applications, hopefully December 1st or March 1st. And please reach out to us if we can help with anything else. In the meantime, thanks so much for taking the time out. We will see you soon. Bye.